Here's how to create a professional factory-ready tech pack for a custom graphic tee using one of our templates. So to start, I'm going to open up the Illustrator tech pack file, and you can see that it already has all of the components that you need in a detailed professional factory-ready tech pack already laid out for you. We have a cover page, bill of materials, colorways, details, construction, artwork, brand and care label, measurements for sample size, measurements for all of your other sizes, hang tag details, packaging details, prototype tracking details, and a page for where you would put comments for the factory. Also, all of the components are grouped and separated onto different layers, which really makes it easier to update and add in your own special details. For example, we have the text on a separate layer, so you can sort of lock each layer as you're updating. We have the images also on a separate layer by themselves. Again, you can lock turn on and off layers as you need while you're updating. This is really, really helpful. Next, I'm going to start by adding in the details for my custom artwork, and I'm going to do this by opening the artwork file with Illustrator and just importing it just by copying and pasting, really. So Control C if you're on a Mac and Control V, and you want to actually just make sure that you are copying it onto the image layer. This is not scaled proportionally to the size of my my CAD, so I'm just gonna play around to see what size actually works. And I think maybe like, let's see, 5 inches. That's probably too big. I kind of want this to be a larger scale artwork. Let's see. And I'm just changing the height, and it's going to scale proportionally. So let's see, 3.5 inches. I'm just kind of playing around to see how it looks since I hadn't really worked this out before. I think maybe 3 inches might be, or 2.75 might be a good size. No, that's a little bit too big. Okay, I think 2.5 actually. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah. I kind of just want it to be centered on the front only of my t-shirt. So I'm just gonna copy it onto the other images, the other CADs, just so it looks consistent. So I'm just gonna copy and paste. You might need to change the size because the images are not all the same size. Uh-oh, what did I do? So it looks like I copied a text. So this is why it's important to lock your layers. Make sure that, so whatever layer you're working on, you can lock or turn off all of the other layers, and just keep the layer that you're working on, just keep that layer only active. So right now I'm working on the image layer. This looks correct-ish. I feel like it could be a little bit bigger on, 2.75. That looks good. And it's centered, so I'm just making sure that it's centered on all of the images. I'm going to go over here to this image paste it on. That's pretty big, so I might need to go like 3 inches here. .25. Well, it looks about right. The only thing is I'm gonna want this to be in front. So I'm gonna copy just highlight this detail, this circle that has a blow up for the label, actually the neck tape detail, and just highlight it and go object, arrange, bring to front. There you go. Okay, so now that's in front. Okay, that looks good. Let me see. Then I'm also gonna wanna, actually I feel like this could be a little bit bigger. 3.5 maybe. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so down to this image. It's a little bit tedious. The reason that you have to kind of do it this way is because all of these images are not, these are PNGs. They're not all AI files. There is one image in here. You could do it a different way. I can show you guys that in a different video, but I just feel like just for the purposes of this is probably, I think, the easiest way right now, especially if you don't have like super great Illustrator skills. I feel like this is the easiest way right now. So just copy and paste it. I think that's the easiest way. And then I could do it on this because technically you would probably see a little bit of it. Let's try that. So I'm just gonna copy this over just to make sure that I don't mess it up. So this is a clipping mask, but it's grouped with a box that has this pink outline. So I'm just gonna highlight the whole thing. So left click, ungroup all, and then I'm just gonna move this box out of the way, and then left click again, go to object, clipping mask, release, and then I'm just gonna paste my hand and try to eyeball the size. So I think this graphic is 3.5 inches. This CAD is bigger than this, so I'm gonna say this probably would be about 5 inches or so, possibly a little bit bigger, but let's go with 5 inches. Also, there is an outline here. There is another box. For the clipping mask. So I think this looks right-ish. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't need to be perfect. This box though does need to be in front in order for the clipping mask to work. So I'm just gonna highlight it, left click, arrange, bring to front. Then I'm going to position it over these two images, so over the t-shirt and the artwork. So okay, so that looks about right. I feel like maybe this could come down a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a visual. Okay, so I'm gonna, so we're gonna create the clipping mask by just left clicking and dragging over everything, all three of these, and then going to Object, Clipping Mask, Make. Okay, and then I want this pink box now to be the outline for all of this, but it's because this clip it you just created the clipping mask, the box is now in the back, so I want it in the front. So I'm just gonna left click and go Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. So that should bring this box in front. Yeah. And then group everything. Okay. So I don't need this anymore. I can move this over. I can delete this. Okay. Let's see. I'm not gonna update these. It's not necessary. You can, but you really don't need to. I am gonna update this one. So I'm gonna just paste my graphic, then kind of the same deal as what we did with the last clipping mask, because this is also a clipping mask. So I want to do that, and that. No. What is going on? There we go. And then I can just move this box over. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I just don't want to mess up the position for the label, the brand name, and where the sticker goes. So I need to release the clipping mask on this. I'm gonna just left click, Object, Clipping Mask, Release. The box is still there. Okay. Then I just need to figure out the size of this. I feel like it probably needs to be about 3 inches. Would probably work. I think that's good, actually. Okay, so then to recreate the clipping mask, I'm gonna need to move this box back to the front. So left click the box only, and just go to Object, Arrange, Bring to Front, and then with your black arrow selected, you're just gonna select all three of these. So the t-shirt, the artwork, and the box, and just go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and then I'm gonna need to bring these to front. So black arrow again, Object, Arrange, Bring to Front. I'm actually gonna group these. I don't know why they weren't grouped before. I'm gonna group everything except for the brand name because I'm gonna change that later. Group. Okay, So then I can just move these out of the way. That looks good. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just add an image of the CAD, of the complete front and back CAD with the graphic to the top of all of the pages. You don't have to do this, but it's just kind of nice and professional. So to do that, I am going to copy all of these, copy from the cover page, and then I am going to just group everything, and then I'm going to scale, I think 1.5 inch wide works. Let's zoom in. Okay, so I'm gonna just copy, after I have it positioned correctly or the way that I want, whatever looks good on the first page, I'm just gonna copy. So with your black arrow, Control C on a Mac, and then should be able to just select the next page by left clicking, and if you do Shift Command V, it should paste it in place. Let's see, more or less, yeah. So you're just gonna go one by one, page by page, and do this. I don't know if there's a way to do them all at the same time. There might be, but Shift Command V. Shift Command V. So the next step is to add in the artwork to the colorway page. And these CADs, unlike most of the other CADs, are not JPEGs or PNG. They are CADs that were built in Illustrator, and you can actually edit them in Illustrator. So if you, if you want to do that, that's something that you can do. The reason that every single CAD in this document is not editable in Illustrator is just for purposes of reducing the file size. If I had every CAD as an editable image, the file would be enormous. So the CADs on the colorway page and also the CAD on the artwork details page are all CADs that can be edited in Illustrator. So if you want to switch everything out, there's really no need to do that. But if you want to do that, you can do that. Okay, so I just need to copy my graphic over to the colorway page, and let me just figure out size. Let's see, this is a lot smaller. Let's see if 2 inches works. That's a little too big, so maybe 1.5. Maybe a little, it's still a little too big. 1.25, a little small. Okay, maybe 1.4. Okay, I think that actually looks really good. Okay, so the way that I'm gonna update this is to just, I'm gonna delete that. Then I'm just gonna, with the black arrow, I'm just gonna copy all of these just, well, select them and just do Option Shift, bring it down just to maintain the placement of the graphic, just so it's set, it's consistent, it's consistently placed in all of the images on the gallery page. And so I'm just going to delete these two and then copy these two over, and okay, that looks about right. So the last and most important step in terms of artwork detail is to edit the artwork details page. This is where you're going to put in your dimensions for your artwork and like dimensions for how it should be placed onto the body of the t-shirt. You're going to add in what type of printing process, and whether or not you want the artwork to be scaled across different sizes. So let's just go through that. So first thing that I need is to copy. I need a copy of my artwork. So Control C, Control V. Okay. And I'm gonna delete this because I don't need it. And then I'm just gonna move these out of the way. These are on the text layer. I'm just gonna move them out of the way so that they don't interfere with what I'm gonna do. Then I'm gonna come back to them later. Okay, so this right now is 2.5 inches, which is a little bit big for this size. I think 2 inches. Oops, 2 inches. Nope, 2.25. That looks good. And that looks pretty much centered. Okay, so then I'm going to go back here to the text layer and I'm going to lock the image layer while I do this. And I am going to, oops, okay, so it looks like this and this. Let's see, maybe some of these were on the image layer. Okay, so it looks like these were on the image layer. I want them to be on the text layer, so I'm just gonna copy them and move them to the text layer, then lock the image layer. Move this up a little bit. Okay, zoom in. This arrow is a little bit too big for this size, also I want it to be in the middle. I'm going to change the size of the arrow to 1/2 inch. I think that should be good. Then I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to say it's about 2 inches from the top, from the neckline, the neckline trim seam, about 2 inches down from there. And then I just want I want this to be a little bit longer so that it sort of meets up with the with this other line. So doesn't really need to go all the way down. And then this, Also, I'm just going to make this arrow 1/2 inch. It's a bit smaller. Oops. What is going on? Okay, that is good. And then this is just centered, so I'm not going to put in a dimension for this. You could, but if you want to be really exact, you probably should. But it's always good to not leave things up to chance with the factory. So ideally, I would recommend putting in a measurement for that. But I'm just going to leave it as centered for now. Then I'm going to go back to my image layer, and I want to put in details for the size of my artwork. This is just like a guessing. It's just a test, an exercise, a demo. So I am just throwing out numbers. Looks like this is on the image layer. So I'm going to make this box. Because my artwork has a lot of color, it's multicolored. I don't need this. So I'm just gonna delete it. I'm gonna make this box a little bit bigger. So I can move the artwork down. And I'm just gonna copy all of this. Move it down. Oops, okay. Move my artwork down. Okay, so here is where you're gonna put in the size for your artwork, and you're gonna put in the width, and it will be scaled, whatever the size is, it's gonna be scaled proportionally to the actual like original artwork file. So you can have the size of the artwork also grade, meaning the size of the width in an extra small, for example, would be smaller than the width in like a medium. You can scale it, but you don't have to do that. I'm not going to do that for here. I'm just going to keep it as the same size across the board. I'm not going to scale the artwork. So I don't know. Let's say the width is like 10 inches. And I'm just going to say 10 inches across the board for all sizes. Again, it just depends on like what your your goals, your outcome, what your goals are. It would be more expensive to have the artwork, to scale the artwork within sizes. It's a lot cheaper to keep the same artwork size, to keep the artwork the same size from size to size. if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just going to keep it the same size. I'm going to do this. I'm going to copy this over. Actually, just copy this over. Then copy it over here. Perfect. And just move the arrow so that it lines up. There you go. And that's it for that. I'm just going to delete them. Delete this. I was just using it as a guide. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select what kind of process I want for my artwork. So this original artwork is a watercolor, and I think screen printing would actually work really nice. So I am going to choose screen printing from this list. So to do that, I'm going to go to the text layer, create a text box, and just mark an X. Make it nice and big. Maybe a different font size. Maybe Arial. Bold. 12 probably is good. Let's make it 14. Actually, and maybe I will also just make this pink. What is going on? I'll just make it pink so that it stands out. Okay, here we go, screen print. Maybe make it a little bit bigger, 18. And then I am just gonna, down here, I'm just gonna copy one of these and just say, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, like 21, just C, separate artwork file. Okay, and that is pretty much it for actually, nope. Want to change this. Want to change the placement here to 2. And then we're good. So that's pretty much it for the artwork details page.